G'day people. Well, as promised, here is the affidavit that I wrote in regards to the photo analysis that I did in regards to Joden Finance. These photos were the original photos supplied by the SOA to the tribunal. They're taken from a far distance and they don't show you any detail of the damage. Perhaps it's the reason they were taken from a far distance. What I find amazing is that they didn't accept John's other photos, which he managed to get after the first lawyer which the SOA fired, because he allowed him to finally look at the car almost a year on since the tribunal. He got fired for that, and of course then he went and got Anna Fuiaba in there. I'm sure she's made a pretty penny. Right, so this is the affidavit by me on the 4th of November. It was for the court hearing on the 8th of December in front of Justice Katz, and this is what I wrote. May it please the court, I, Mark Donald Eric Keane of Auckland, solemnly and sincerely declare, 1. I am 48 years old. Be 49 in 5 days. I am 48 years old and have approximately 30 years experience in brown good repairs, anywhere from microwaves, stereos, videos, all those sorts of things I used to fix, aerial installations, satellite installations, spread spectrum radio communications, and domestic and commercial installations. I used to work for Sky, I worked for iHug, I worked for Clear, Telstra. I've been around the block a few times and I've got a fair bit of knowledge as far as electronics is concerned. 2. Over the last 8 years I've focused on legislation and law studies. That's because they sent me 2 $30 tickets in the span of 4 days and I thought they were just taking the piss. That is what started me learning law from the get-go. I have focused on law studies as well as being an independent reporter investigator, and have created, edited and produced over 3,000 videos in that time. I currently administer several YouTube channels, on the main channel being CKA Mark OTHO Keane, stands for commonly known as Mark of the House of Keane, with over 3,000 subscribers and approximately 1 million views. It's well over 1 million now and there's about 3,400 subscribers. 4. With many years of experience, I consider myself an expert in detecting digital modification to images and video productions, along with computer hardware and software builds and repairs. I also built the occasional computer as well as I've built my entire house. I'm one of those guys that's like a jack of all trades. I can build your car, build your house, make you a wonderful dinner, sew you up something nice, bake. I was well taught back in those days when you needed common sense to do shit. Anyway, brief background to this matter before the court. On the 7th of October 2020, I had attended an LCRO hearing, a Law Commission Review Office hearing, with John Murphy as a support person. Mr. Maidman, I believe, was the adjudicator. I might put that up very soon as well for you guys to have a listen, just to see what you think.
In courts over many years, I've seen judges that will give a decision 6 weeks later and it's posted out to people, and many times of course that has to happen with reflection, court and care and all the rest of it. And then some judges who are able on the day to be able to say to people, look, this is the view I've formed and I'm going to tell you now. You deserve to know what I'm thinking and the reasons for it and the explanations for it. But Mr. Murphy, thank you for that. Mr. Keane, you've been a particularly helpful support person for Mr. Murphy today, and thank you for coming along.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, I'll be here for a few minutes. So
good as.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan.
6. At the conclusion of that hearing, Mr. Murphy asked me how difficult it would be to ascertain if photographs had been doctored or altered, photoshopped, to which I responded, not difficult with the right software or equipment. Once we had returned to Mr. Murphy's car yard, 380 Great South Road, Green Lane, Mr. Murphy showed me several photographs he had stated he had taken of various damage in relation to a 2008 Mercedes-Benz S350L, registration number KYK89, vehicle he had sold in February 2019 to Mr. Prersslip, or the SOA. I refer to these photographs as originals and took photographs of these originals for my records. Later that day, on the 7th of October 2020, Mr. Murphy emailed to me a zip file consisting of 3 images. I refer to these as new image 403, 404 and 406. They were the ones that Prersslip supplied to the tribunal. 9. The following day, on the 8th of October, I copied the originals, exhibits J through B, and new images, exhibits A through C, to my computer, and then used Windows Picture Viewer and used the zoom function to inspect these images, and then used Microsoft Paint to open the new images and then enlarged them to 400%, exhibits D through G. I then took these originals, exhibits J through B, and matched them to the sections of the new images. So basically I took John's close-up photos of the tyres and I matched them to the associated photo of the images that Prersslip supplied to the tribunal. A note that of the 3 new images, exhibit A through C, two were of complete tyres and rims taken from a distance, and one was of the front left fender. The originals, exhibit J through B, were taken at a closer distance and showed only sections of the same tyres and rims along with similar shots from the front left fender. Firstly, the new image 403, exhibit A, was of the front left fender and showed little to no damage, whereas when compared to the original photograph, exhibit P of John's, of the front left fender, there was clear damage where the fender and bumper were not aligned. Therefore, the new image 403 showed there had been repairs made to this area of damage in exhibit H. Secondly, new image 4004, exhibit B, was of the front left tyre and rim from a distance. I matched 8 original photographs, exhibits K, L, M, O, S, U and V, to the new image 4004, exhibit B. I then produced a new picture, exhibit I, including the image 4004 as a centerpiece, and then arranged the 8 original photographs to their respective areas. It appeared that 4 sections of the new image 4004, exhibit B, when compared to the originals, exhibits K, L, M, O, S, U and V, that these 4 sections of the new image 4004 had been modified. I refer to the wheel as a clock face to give reference as to the location on image 4004 where these discrepancies appear. These locations are at 10:30, exhibit D, 12 o'clock, exhibit E, 1:30, exhibit F, and 6 o'clock, exhibit G. At 10:30, exhibit D, upon comparison between the originals and the new image 4004, exhibit B, the originals showed a clear chunk of tyre missing, yet the new image, Exhibit B, shows no such damage. Therefore, the new image shows modification of this area is inconsistent with the originals. I have not physically seen the tyre to ascertain the truth as to the section of damage and unaware of any process that would repair such a damage to a tyre. In other words, you don't take a big chunk out of a tyre and then try and stick it back on with glue. At 12 o'clock, Exhibit E, 1:30, Exhibit F, and 6 o'clock, Exhibit G, upon comparison between the originals and new image 4004 Exhibit B, the originals showed damage to the rim, yet on the new image 4004 Exhibit B, in my opinion, there has been some modification via shading or editing, presumably in an attempt to make the damage appear less severe. 16. It is my opinion that of these modifications between the originals and new images supplied, that the section 1030 has clearly been edited to make the new image 4004 appear that there is less overall damage to the tyre, and has been done so presumably to mislead the viewer. New image 4004 Exhibit C did not match any of the originals, therefore I was unable to make any comparisons. Below are the originals, new images and collations I have created to support my findings, marked as Exhibit A to B. I understand that this affidavit is to be used in a court proceedings, and I am willing to attend any future hearing to give evidence should the court wish. Signed by me and all witnessed. And it was really actually quite a learning experience for me making this affidavit, because I had to keep going back to the solicitor 3 times because there were new things I had to add, little exhibit markers and stuff that you have to learn to put on each photo. But you live and learn. Unless I'd done this, I wouldn't have known. So, that's the affidavit. Nowhere in that do I say I'm an expert in forensic photo analysis. Do I? Nowhere do I say I was a support person for John at any of the tribunal hearings prior to October, even though I was there at the 29th of June at Harrison's fucking joke of a trial, and there was clear collusion between him and the Anna because there's no way he's going to start picking on the word damage with John in court, and just, what would you know, the opposing counsel just happens to have right there ready the legal, well, not even the legal definition of the word damage, but just the average ordinary version. So, you know, she couldn't even pick up a Butterworth's Law Dictionary, which is what we use in New Zealand, and interpret the words correctly. But she certainly also misled the court, because she was, well, perhaps Gary, given his age, he probably needs it explained to him these days, but yeah, she and him definitely had it on the same page that they were up to something. There is no way someone walks in there with the page ready to use as a reference straight after the judge is having a 15-20 minute argument over what the word damage is and trying to get a layperson to tell you what it is. John just showed up the photo, but that didn't work for them. They wanted him to legally define the word damage, because a judge of over 40 plus years experience and a legal solicitor on the other side didn't quite grasp that it's any loss of value. It's that simple. Anyway, guys, moving on next. I hope you're going to enjoy the video of the recollection of the Mercedes. I am going to go back over and see John once my health permits. I've had 2 months of hell with what I believe is ulcerative colitis, but we're still waiting and finding out with doctors about that one. Some days I'm good, other days I feel like shit and can't move. So yeah, I will catch up with you all later. Thank you very much for all the love and support, and totally appreciate it. Have a good day, guys. Catch ya.